Right, welcome back to Delboy's Garage. Now this is going to be episode 4 of Project Bachelor. The work today will include some wire, getting welded around the inside of that ventilation hole for the oil cooler. That's really all I need to do because I want to do that nice and carefully. It's all about that high-end finish, taking my time, and this is going to be lots of hand filing. Can't video too much of that, everyone's teeth fall out. If you ever listen to hand filing on a video, it's not funny. So that will be just a quick video today to get that done. The next side of it is the Q&A. Didn't we do well? We enjoyed it. The comments tell us that you enjoyed it, and we've got at least 75 questions left out of the pack that we got come in. So we've got 3 more episodes to come. That's going to be on Sundays. We'll do 3, I think, at least before we get the shout out for any more questions, because we really have plenty for now. Thanks. Any more coming in now, just I can answer them straight away. It's not a problem. The next thing I wanted to say was about the Triumph. Now obviously I think we've had a little bit of a thing here. The Triumph is the model of the Triumph Bonneville, Scrambler and Thruxton are very big in Germany. If you watch the Tri-Days video, it's almost a whole lifestyle thing going on about it, and I've kind of been watching this a while myself, and I seem to have noticed that in the stats, when we're looking at the stats, that recently there's been this massive influx on the channel of new subscribers from Germany. So it seems we're watching you, you're watching us, which is fantastic. I absolutely love that. Now I've got to say, I think it's important. I like to make sure I open all your videos, I open your subscription, I open your channel, I look who you are, where you live, and that's important to me personally. I like to make sure that I know who's watching and that I can say hello to you if necessary and watch your channel and your videos. I think it's a reciprocal thing. So to all of our new German viewers, I have to say, herzlich willkommen auf meine deutschen Zuschauer. Now if that makes any sense at all, then welcome. Stick around, stay tuned, and let's see what happens today on the Triumph. Right, this is where we left it last time. This is really just a sheet flat metal at the moment. I've got that curvature pretty much bang on at the bottom. It's not properly seated at the minute, but when it's mounted, this is going to be about 3 to 5 mil off the surface, so that curve is bang on. It's gone as far as it needs to go underneath. It's now cut to length, and all I now need to do is two or three main jobs. I've got to cut the hole there, which is then going to bolt it onto the 4 bolts that live behind. But today I just want to concentrate on this hole that I've already cut. I want to weld some wire on the inside and then file it round so I get a bit of a 3D look. Stick around and see what I mean. Here's the cunning plan. This is some of the wire left over from a previous project, and the idea is to weld it around this inside lip there, but just proud that way so that it just sticks out the other side and I can file it rounded. So rather than talking any more about it, I'm just going to chop 4 pieces up to go round and then set the welder up, see if I can just tack them in. May not work, may work, we never know. It's just a theory at the minute. Right, just initially cut 4 pieces to go round. It doesn't have to be mitered corners because they'll just get filed into shape. It's just as long as they butt up roughly. I'm just going to use the good old crops to cut it. It's only 3mm wire. Should go easy enough. There we go. Just got to retrieve it off the floor. There we go. Now this may not work. I may need something a little bit thicker, but I don't know. We'll try this first. I can always lop it off. I'm only going to tack it on, as with all things that come on. There we go. As with all things that are experimental, it's best to do it bit by bit. Right, next to the just dress these cut ends so that it sits. They sit nice and square. Mind your ears. Right, now all that noise, they should just sit inside. I want them to lean off the edge of the, or off the edge, period. Get them to lean off the edge so that they show inside, kind of make a curve. That makes any sense at all. Right. Yeah, yeah. Right. Check that that's penetrated at all. Oh yeah, penetrated through. So they'll stay there. Nothing worse than it all falling to bits later in life. Do a job once. Right. Okay. They're penetrating properly now. Coming right through. Almost come through there, but I can tack that up. What I'm going to do now, just to make this robust, it hasn't warped at all, which is nice. I'm just going to run around it, baz a load of tacks on it, get it nice and strong, and then I can get a bit rough with it, try and make it pretty. See if the idea works. Right, it's buckling up a bit. Just going to let that cool off and straighten it out. Plenty of penetration if nothing else. Now it's not hard to bend it back, and it's just, thankfully it's just twisted very slightly on its, and you can see it looking at it that way, it's just twisted there in its strength, kind of got a flex to it now because that's extra strong, but once the frame around the outside gets the same thing, it will strengthen it all up. There's no kinking, that's the important thing. It's cooling off nicely, I'm letting it cool naturally and slowly. Obviously if I dunked it in a big bucket of water it'd probably just buckle up. So just keeping all the kinks out of it. There's no creaking or cracking, so none of the welds are coming free, and they're nice, and the secondary ones along there, right here, they're nice and penetrated right the way through, so they'll stay there. And that is, apart from that little flex that it's now got, which I think is attributed to the fact that that's stronger than the outside, so I'll come to that later. I'll strengthen the outside with probably a thicker piece of rod. There we go. Right, now get the leper, a little clean up on the back. There it is. Right. Right, time to take stock now. It's all kind of straight. Now the idea now, or the idea of this, was to use the thickness of that now. That's now 3mm and 4.5mm thick now. Where are you? Over here. Sorry. That's 4.5mm thick on that edge now, is to radius that. Now, a little bit of work there with the lapper just worries me because you can go too far. Lappers are a bit butch. So I'm afraid this is a hand file. Just going to have a little play with the file. See if I can make a fair job. Now it's got a new one. I just picked up a new file, a little cheap set. Beauty of a new file is they're nice and sharp. And you don't get a good edge or a good dressing. You're trying to dress that back, you're not going to do it with a blunt old file. So nice and sharp. So you're watching on earphones, turn it down because this tends to knock your teeth out a bit. Just going to do this bottom one and see how it goes first. Just rolled over 3/4 of an hour now, and it's starting to take shape, starting to get tidy now. And then just fine tuning the dressing with the file in between. In between the joints. What you don't bargain on is how they end up curving. Trying to get them straight. Trying to get the little curves out so that they still look square. More involved than you thought, or than I thought. Just use the file as a straight edge. That's it. Cock on. Next one, other side. Just a little curve to it, perhaps where it's warped. Right, now all the shaping's done with that. I'm going to drop down to a very fine file and take all the file marks out. Just a little tiny flat hand file. Just do some fine dressing, take the edges off, get that nice round radius. Just a stage between the file and the emery cloth. Because the sharp files made some big old teeth marks in this. So this will just reduce them without taking too much, if any, metal off. Just kind of draw filing all the teeth marks out. Oh, lovely. Lovely. Nice and smooth. Shiny, shiny. Now that's about 80% perfect. I've got the curve that I wanted and it looks thicker. So if you look at that now, this is the point I was making. That's what I'm trying to achieve. It looks like it's made out of 1/4 inch plate, which is pretty cool. Obviously you couldn't make it out of that because it'd be too heavy. But if it was alley, it would be that thick. So it's going to have that beefy look. And the mesh will go on the inside and then we'll sit back slightly from this front face. It won't just be up against it. Because that edge, that kind of edge is way too thin, looks way too flimsy. That looks way better. Now, as I said, that's probably, I don't know, 80% perfect. But I will bodywork that. That will get painted with some filler primer, and I shall just, with a soft paper, just get all these little gaps. There's a little gap, where are we? See it in the light. See that one? Yeah, there it is. A little gap there where the rod's just, as it's welded, it's just lifted away a bit. So that will just fill in with a little tiny bit of filler. And I've dressed it back at the back so it's no thicker. It's the same thickness going all the way through. So there we are. All right, that's enough for today. Here we go, little test fit. So it looks a bit beefier now. And this hole is now probably 1/4 inch, I reckon, bigger across there. Just because I've dressed those back all the way across. And that looks a lot better. Bit beefier, chunkier, and once that's body worked and it's got the, obviously in there it's black and it's got the gold mesh in, that'll give it a good old look. Definitely better than it was. There we go, a couple of hours of nothing. Right, there we go, 2.5 hours of that. I reckon that'll do for now. It just takes time, that sort of thing. Hand working, hand dressing with a file, finessing if you want to call it. It's just one of those time consuming things, part of the project. I quite enjoy it, it's quite therapeutic, but I know it's not nice to watch, so there we go, there's a little bit more done. I've got to do all the way down the sides of it, right down to the bottom. That'll be a little bit more effort because it is twisting quite a bit, but it straightens up okay, it's only sheet metal. Great thing with metal is if it goes out of shape, just beat it back in. It's wonderful, it's better than wood. Couldn't stand woodwork, do me head in. There we are. Not much more to waffle about for now. Q&A at the weekend, and then some more of this after that. Just going to keep the whole lot going until we can get the bandit back in and start on the project on that. There we are. I think that's everything. Take it easy, ride safe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.